Hi, welcome to Take Off Monday. I'm Rosanna Catalano. Welcome to our show. And my wonderful co-host is with me as always on Monday. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Joy Tootle. I'm an attorney and I work for Rocket Ship Consultants, and I'm coming to you from my home in Gainesville, Florida.
Well, that was way more information than I provided. So now I'm feeling that my introduction was not as thorough. So let me get more thorough with I am also an attorney and I work at Rocket Ship Consultants as well. And we work with a lot of entrepreneurs and we work with a lot of people transitioning in their careers and a lot of people that want to grow their businesses. So we talk a lot about business and career transitions on this show, Take Off Monday. So our topic today is how to structure ownership of your business and raise money. So last week we talked about picking the appropriate business entity for your company. Once you do that, you need to solidify the relationships you have with the other company founders. You will need to figure out how the equity is structured. For this point in the process, you need to really think about the future, especially the near future. Are you going to bring in additional shareholders or new employees in the near future? Will you seek venture capital financing right away? You want to structure your ownership so that you are anticipating these events and have the flexibility to deal with them. So structuring the ownership is a lot like putting together a prenuptial agreement before a wedding. It's often the first time that the founders are sitting down, just like the bride and groom, sitting down and thinking about the formal legal relationship that they're about to form. Most founders are thinking that everything will be divided up fairly, but what you consider fair may be different from what I consider fair. I know when we discussed this earlier today, Joy had a great list of questions that everyone should consider when putting together their business. You want to share that with everyone else, Joy?
Yes, I did come up with some questions. There are a number of very tough questions that founders should consider when they're structuring their ownership. What happens if one of the founders quits? Who will own what percentage of the business? Who will steer the business and make decisions for the business? What is everyone going to contribute to the business? How much cash? How much property? How will I be protected from being forced out of the company? And Ro, when we were discussing it earlier, you brought up a couple of other questions. So maybe you could share those with us right now.
Yeah, you got me thinking, there's other things that people may want to consider is how are you going to treat your employees? Will you be providing equity incentives for your employees? I'm also curious how business owners handle the forgotten founder, the guy who put in a lot of work to start the venture, but is no longer actively involved. When entrepreneurs are excited to get their idea off the ground, all of these questions, they feel like obstacles, which is why, I compared this process to putting together a prenuptial agreement. The engaged couple just want to get hitched. They want to start their lives together and they don't want to pause to think, through the reality of the relationship, especially if one spouse is contributing a significantly different amount of assets from the other spouse. We all know that sometimes marriages don't last and business partnerships are no different. So some work well for years and others fizzle out. You really want to make sure you have established some ground rules going into your business, especially if the founders are contributing significant cash and property to the business.
Yeah, these issues, they're not pleasant to think about before you get married, and it's also not pleasant to think about when you're building your business. But in both scenarios, it's extremely important. If you have a well-planned business structure, it can make for smoother financing because it demonstrates to others that the business has its act together. Consider business structure work as the first team building exercise for your company.
You are spot on there. No one wants to think about the end at the beginning, but it's really important just because life gets in the way and you just don't know what's going to be thrown at you and what will happen and how you might go your separate ways with the other founders. So before we talk about raising capital for your business, let's take a commercial break to learn about all the services our company offers clients and to help them grow their business, their career, or to make their outreach footprint much larger.
At Rocket Ship Consultants, our mission is to launch your business, career, or podcast. Our team works with you to start and grow your business with fresh ideas and inspiration. Let us make key introductions on your behalf and leverage our network of contacts. Talk to us before you send your application in for a new position, a university admission, or a scholarship. From resumes and interview preparation to negotiating offers, our experienced career advisors can help you at all levels achieve your career goals. Let us help you take that dream you have for a podcast or video and turn it into a reality. Rocket Ship Consultants offers a variety of services, so check out our website at rocketshipconsultants.com. Take off with Rocket Ship Consultants and launch your business, career, or podcast with us.
And we're back. So hopefully during that commercial, I was able to really tuck my hair behind my ears. I got a haircut this week, so hopefully people can see and notice. But I have special headphones that go around, earplugs around my ears, and I can't really tuck my hair. And I've noticed I just keep messing with it during our show. So let's get back to business of our show. So once you have a sound business structure in place, then founders can turn their attention to raising money. And getting the capital you need to start your business may be the hardest thing you do because many new businesses just don't have a track record.
Each type of funding has its pros and cons, just like everything else. Business owners really need to think about the amount of control they want to have over their company when figuring out how to fund their idea. I'm sure you've seen the show Shark Tank, and you've probably noticed that the entrepreneurs that go on that show always end up having to give up some equity and sometimes even some element of control over their business in order to make the deal with the shark. But this gets them the working cash capital infusion that they need to get their company to the next level. And clearly, if you've watched the show, you know that most of the entrepreneurs have done their homework about what balance is acceptable to them moving forward.
So one of the ways that you can finance your company is through self-financing. This allows you to grow your business through the use of your own net income and cash resources. A business may want to structure its operations in a way to ensure that cash is coming into the business in a timely manner. For example, a business that sells goods or services may ask for payment in 15 days rather than the usual 30 to 45 days. The business can also negotiate with suppliers to see if they can send their payment 60 or 90 days after they've received the products and hopefully already have sold some of the products to customers and collected payments for the products. That way they have some cash on hand. A business can even require advance payments and deposits from customers and clients to help get the cash in the door before the business has to spend money.
The main advantage of self-financing is that the entrepreneur does not have to share control of the business with anyone else. And that also it could save time that would otherwise be spent courting, vetting investors. There are a number of disadvantages though too. Many times self-financing does not generate enough money for the business. You really have to have made realistic projections if you want to make it work successfully.
And another way that people can finance their business is through friends and family. Financing in this manner is a quick and relatively cheap way to get the capital you need. But beware, friends and family often do not bring the expertise to the table that you may need to get your company and your startup off the ground. Make sure you have clear documentation in these scenarios to avoid uncomfortable Thanksgiving dinners later. You really want to have this spelled out in the beginning.
Absolutely. Another option might be to consider financing with an angel investor. An angel investor is a person who provides capital to a new or small business venture. Angel investors typically have spare cash available, but they're looking for a higher rate of return than through a traditional investment. And this can be a relatively quick way to raise funds. Although angel investors can bring talent, connections, and expertise to your company, they don't usually have as deep pockets as a venture capitalist. If you're familiar with the series Ozark on Netflix, then you probably have an idea how an angel investor operates, absent, of course, the involvement of the Mexican cartel. So if you've seen the show Ozark, no need to be afraid to seek an angel investor's involvement in your business. It doesn't typically work out quite that way.
That's a great example. So, deep pockets, we talked about that, are a distinct advantage of working with a venture capital firm, which is a professional investment group. However, venture capitalists, VCs, are not usually interested in companies unless there is an expected high rate of return on investment, and they want a clear exit path with favorable terms. VCs don't usually stick around for decades. They want to be able to make money on their investment with you and then move on to their next investment. VCs can be amazing because they can assist you with business strategy and recruiting of maybe your top managers. However, with all of the expertise and cash you gain, you generally lose some control over your company.
And we could go on for days talking about all the different ways you could potentially finance your business. We've really only begun to scratch the surface here today. There are strategic alliances and joint ventures, private grant money, and even crowdfunding platforms. We'll talk more about these in our blog, so check out our blog post by visiting our website at www.rocketshipconsultants.com.
Oh, and don't forget, there's government financing programs. As a lobbyist, I spend a lot of time helping to identify programs for clients, navigating the process, and securing these types of funds.
I see that we're running out of time. So Rosanna, tell us what exciting things are on deck with Rocket Ship Consultants this week.
We always have some great things on deck. So the Floridaville podcast episode of artist Colette Hardiman was released. She, our company produces and edits this podcast, the Floridaville, and Colette is a self-taught artist who is known for her murals. She has more than 70 of them just around Tallahassee, the capital city here in Florida. Although she earns her living from art serves, many purposes in her life. It is a coping mechanism for a traumatic childhood and adulthood. Colette was really open and courageous with us. In the interview, she told us about how she was once addicted to heroin and how she beat the odds and recovered. A truly amazing story of strength and very inspiring. You can find Colette's episode and all of the Floridaville episodes at www.thefloridaville.com. So check out the website. We also have a YouTube channel. I interviewed her via video live stream, and that's on our YouTube channel for the Floridaville. So please go check it out. Colette Hardiman. It was an amazing, very moving and inspiring story. I think you'll find it that way as well.
Yes, I love that episode. It was very inspiring, and she was so authentic. If you think a podcast can get your business to the next level, or if you're even interested in starting one as a hobby, contact us at Rocket Ship, and we can definitely help get you started. Also, don't forget Rocket Ship Consultants is hosting another networking event on Thursday, July 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Go to Rocket Ship Consultants' Facebook page to participate in our Launchpad. We've created a forum where anyone can join in the conversation and meet the guests that we have on that platform. Last week, we brought in a filmmaker, a real estate attorney, and a business development leader to a national court reporting firm.
All after that show, I think one of the audience members secured an internship with one of the guests. It was very exciting. I was so happy to see the concept of the show working. Fantastic. So this week, we'll have the director of the Professionalism Center of the Florida Bar and a leader in the higher education space that helps higher education professionals at all levels to utilize data and evidence to make decisions that benefit students and institutions. So we have another interesting and busy week. I cannot wait. So it looks like we're all out of time. So good night here from Tallahassee, Florida.
Good night from Gainesville.
Good night, everyone.